On both sides of the fractious Conservative Party, there is a general feeling that disaster is looming. So Danny Kruger is reported in The Guardian as saying that the Conservatives face obliteration at the next election. And he also says that the Conservatives are leaving the country in a worse state than when they inherited it in 2010. He is the founder of the New Conservatives group, so he's not somebody I particularly favour in any way. But his observation, I think, is something which needs to be taken seriously. He says the choice is whether we stick with the plan that is starting to deliver the long-term change our country needs or go back to square one with the Labour Party. I'm afraid there isn't that plan. He has to recognise, and this is what Sunak is going to be saying, he has to recognise that the time is up, that the Labour Party will win the next election. The question is, what is the state of the country that Sunak will leave to Keir Starmer? And will this be a year dominated by an election race, or will it be a year during which time Sunak has an opportunity to plan out, leave, create his legacy? Because at the moment, his legacy is going to be a sort of urine puddle dripping from the rim of the lavatory of lost hopes that is the Conservative Party. So in October, Kruger addressed the Res Publica think tank. He said the narrative that the public has firmly adopted that over 13 years things have got worse is one we have to acknowledge and admit. Some things have not been done right and well. The free school movement that Michael Gove oversaw, and universal credit and Brexit, even though it was in the teeth of the Tory party hierarchy itself and mismanaged, nevertheless Brexit will be the great single standing achievement of our time in office. Of course, Brexit will be the greatest feature of the Conservative time in office. I don't think it's an outstanding achievement. It's a disaster. And Kruger needs to recognise that Brexit has achieved absolutely nothing. Now, I think Brexit could achieve quite a lot. It wouldn't be my way of going about it, but Brexit could achieve a great deal if it were in the hands of people, let's say, who believed in Brexit, first of all, or people who believed that we need to deal with the reality that we are presented with, rather than whine on about what might have been. But instead, Brexit is destroyed at almost every level. It's sabotaged by people who don't like it, and it fails by people who haven't thought it through, by people who champion it. People like Lord Fox. Is it Fox? Frost. Lord Frost. I knew he was something to do with an F. I just got my F off in the wrong place. Lord Frost, who couldn't be bothered to work out a replacement for Dublin 3, and therefore personally ushers in the small boat problem, who couldn't be bothered to sort out Northern Ireland, and personally made way for all that effort by Chris Heaton-Harris to set up the Windsor framework, which again only half does it. But in the process, Theresa May's absurd election ushered in the DUP, gave the DUP a power that they'd never before experienced, and gave them a sort of, well, one doesn't want to sort of do too much of a nod at the Soviet Union. It gave them a sort of bolshiness that they still haven't recovered from. They need to be brought down a peg, and if necessary, knocked sideways. The Northern Ireland situation will only recover when the DUP are brought to heel. And, well, there we are. Realism and honesty. And he went on to say, that's Kruger, that the rise of the right wing across Europe should be a warning for the Conservative Party rather than an opportunity for a get-together. Rishi Sunak's trip to Italy to Giorgia Meloni will not go down in the end as one of the great moments in history. I think there should be a relationship with Italy, and any relationship with any European country that we can build at the moment is a good one. But crowing about the Albanian migrant plan and suggesting that is comparable to the Rwanda plan is a deceit and a distraction again. So he says, for decades across the Western world, centre-right parties have controlled the institutes of the state, yet nevertheless have presided over a drift away from their stated values and the interests of their voters. Conservatives worldwide have presided over models of mass migration, political correctness, and economic short-termism. The British government is making some of the right moves to correct this, but the reaction underway in Europe at the moment is a warning to my party. Either we remember the people we work for, or we face obliteration. His call will be to become stronger. The call of other people in the sort of more centralist wing of the Conservative Party is the same call, that the Conservative Party is doomed, but that the Conservative Party should focus on things which it has traditionally believed in. And those are things like the economy and freedom. And this obsession with migration and an obsession with control is a misunderstanding, I think, of conservatism. So he's quite right in his assessment that Rishi Sunak is presiding over the last days of the Conservative Party. He's wrong in the medicine which he is prescribing. His medicine is wrong. His analysis is right. His prescription is wrong. His diagnosis is right. And a compromise here by the Prime Minister will get it wrong from both sides. The Prime Minister needs to move back to the centre, and while he needs to recognise that what Kruger is prophesying is correct, he needs to ignore the medicine which Kruger is proffering and ignore it firmly. But I don't think he will somehow. I think he's more likely to persist with this mad belief that he can win and to mess around the place, fishing in that pool that he has created, and nothing good will come from it. Damian Green, who is the chair of the One Nation group, that's a slightly better group, says the old saying that it's the economy is stupid still applies for general elections. Well, I think Damian Green is wrong. It's too late to bribe the public. But the economy is the key. That's where the Conservatives should fight. We need to convince would-be Conservative voters of all kinds if we want to win. No. You need to convince would-be Conservative voters of all kinds if you want to survive after the next defeat. That's the key. You need to look beyond this coming election.